Hi guys, welcome to Edustart now. I am Kamlesh and I work for Amazon. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do subscribe and also follow us on Insta at Edustart now. So previous class we have discussed what exactly the logistic regression and linear regression is all about. We have understood what exactly the clustering and things like that, and also we try to uh, learn what exactly the clustering and how the clustering plays an important role in this thing. So different types of clustering we also seen, like what is k means clustering, what is k means algorithms, and what is knn before, knn after, how to categorize the things, what is a centroid function, and how the data points and new data points can be categorized and things like that. And also we understood how to how the model should be how the model should be selected, like choose a number of k neighbors and take the k nearest neighbors of the data points according to the Euclidean distance, and among the neighbors count the number of data points in each of the category and assign the new points to the category where you counted the most of the neighbors should be. So then the model would be ready for the things. So this was a case study of social networking ads we have taken care, where we have tried to learn what exactly the cross validation and import test and things like that. So from the scikit-learn importer we have distinguished between what exactly the is transform and transform fit and things like that. Okay, so we also understood and learned what exactly the key nearest neighbor and classifier the neighbor matrix is all about. So we also understood what exactly y predict and classifier predict, and then we also learned what exactly the confusion matrix is all about. And difference between y test and y predict, we try to compare what exactly the y test and y predict thinks about. So we also understood to run this code took a very long time to make, still remember, but this visualization training sets is also plays a very important role. So K means K training set and labels and estimated salary. And if you try to visualize this, the output was beautifully executed like this, by differentiating both the red and green. The what are the dots which have been present over there? There were only seven variations in between the group, so the model was a 98% accuracy. So this was a previous class. So now in the current class we'll discuss what exactly the interviewer gonna ask about, the questions. So what exactly the interviewer gonna ask the questions all about. So first, resume should be ready on the very first note, and in that resume it should be, technically the resume should be about what how the resume is gonna prepare. So make sure you have a GitHub, and GitHub should be filled what are the projects which you try to work, and things like that. If you have any interest in writing a blogs or creating any videos and things like that, so please try to make, if you please try to put that in your resume, and your LinkedIn profile should be updated. um, so your LinkedIn profile should also be updated in that. And another important note which I wanted to say is, mm, resume should be one in page, and what are the work experience resume, what are the projects you have done, and whichever sector you worked in, try to correlate whatever the sector you have worked, correlate that sector into data science. Okay, I would like to give an example, if you want to elaborate this thing. So say suppose you work for risk mining and things like that. So what are the risk ascertainment of your company? You have to calculate and gauge it, right? So in that process, you have to calculate what exactly the risk is associated to that business, and then try to link it up, and whatever the risk which is associated to that, try to link it up to the machine learning algorithms. Whether by the use of machine learning algorithms, you can easily make it out what exactly the risk is ascertained in that. So try to learn SQL. SQL is a must, and if you have any idea about Power BI, and Tableau, then that's gonna be a very plus point for you. And also, what else? What else? What else? Mm, mm, Thinking. Let me think. Okay. So try to make a resume very crisp and short. You should talk rather than your resume. Resume is just an pamphlet for indication of a what exactly you are and about. So, firstly, the projects, and try to get into internship as soon as possible. If you are fresher, they're gonna expect you what internship have you worked till date, and in internship also, what are the projects, what were you learning, what was the thesis of that, if you have made any project report, what was the learnings of from that project report, you have to analyze in that. Okay, that's what is exactly we're gonna expect from the interview questions. So next next so let us see some of the few of the interview questions, like this is one of the interview questions which I have prepared very long back. So the interview questions, and another important tip I would like to add on to that is what what I wanted to say is SQL, Python, and what else? That's it. So be very confident about yourself. Be prepared. So whatever the things, like yeah, got I can now I'm able to recollect that. So things which you have asked in that question, like things that you have asked in the questions, like. Mm, what tell me about yourself. So you should be very much clear about what exactly you wanted to tell me about the process. Why do you want to get into machine learning and deep learning? So are you interested in it? So if you are from a BCom background, that is completely different domain, so how do you want to get into that? So you have to able to clearly explain what exactly, and majority of the things they're gonna basically asked about what exactly the hypothesis is. So why data science, how model they gonna deploy. So what was the real life scenario where you encountered what exactly data science? So basic things they're gonna ask you very much. If they suppose if their interviewer is from max background, or else from statistics background, or from coding background, he will try to ask much on that. So depending upon the questions, you should gauge from what is his core area and core concepts about. So that is up to that is what exactly the interview is gonna be. So straight away interview questions gonna be, why do you want to do this project, and what was a level of accuracy you have encountered till date, and what was the steps which have been what were the steps of machine learning, and what is correlation and regression, what is hypothesis and null hypothesis. We already discussed the basic topics, right? And what is parameter, what is static and what is exactly difference between static and a parameter. Say suppose if a given case of a probability, which one do you want to choose, whether it might be mutually exclusive or mutually inclusive. So depending upon that, there will be several other parameters also, like in coding, how do you get your things done. One second. There is opening which is gonna going on, that is a Bangalore looking, Dhira Software Labs. Bangalore is looking for internship mainly in data modeling. They require people who probably try to their hands on technology. Stipend should be around 15K. The performance, okay, nice. Mm. Okay, so these are the bright interview questions, and be confident, dress in a formal, and so these are the questions which we have jotted down. These are the 40 machine learning questions. Give me a minute. I'll try to get what exactly other questions, like in NLP. If you want to get into, I have another module. What exactly? I'll let you know. So hold on for a minute. Okay. The more So these are the 40. Yes, I figured it out what next to be thought after these 40 questions. So very first we'll discuss these 40 questions. So there is another internship opportunity which I've come across is One Digital Entertainment, where since its an inception in 2013, One Digital Entertainment has been managing over 3,000 plus content creators and partner over 20 billion minutes of content watched over YouTube, making India's largest certified multi-channel network. Cu- Currently home to some of the biggest names in Indian media industry and one of the digital entertainment family creators to the content. Every single need from a planning and strategizing video content to productions indicates the distribute of the family. We like family take care of your own. We build up the support and creators through innovative collaboration and detailing attention to the brand building. We not just build views, we strive to build entertainers for the future. Okay, this is a very good opportunity. Like we currently have offices at Mumbai, Kolkata, Gurgaon, and Singapore. They are doing a very good job. So this is a wonderful next another job opportunity. So try to make your resumes according and try to upload in Glassdoor. Many of the reviews we are getting in Glassdoor. Okay, uh, 40 interview questions in machine learning. So if you are given a trained data and having thousand columns and 1 million rows, the data set based on the classification problem. So classification problem is just like a Titanic data which we worked on. Okay, one second. A manager asked to reduce the dimension of this context of water model computation so that time can be reduced. Your machine, so your machine has a time constraint. What would you do? You are free to make a practical assumptions. High dimension is a limited. So if I would have been in this place, the RAM would have been considerable, and we also used the PCA. Yes, I was able to PCA online algorithms like Opal Wabbit available in Python is a possible option. Building an inner and a stochastic gradient is also helpful. It can apply the business understanding and approach following identification prediction results the significant loss of information. So for point number four, make sure that online leaders algorithms sarcastic. These are the advanced method. So in the rotation necessary PCA, if s what would happen if you don't rotate the components? If you don't rotate the components, obviously the PCA doesn't make any sense because PCA is nothing but principal component analysis. So what are the components which are selected in the very first that doesn't change? So it change according to the point. So if you rotate the components, effect PCA will diminish, and we have to select more number of in data variants. If you're given a data set and the data set has a missing values which spread along one standard deviation of the median, the percent of the data remains unaffected. Why? Okay, obviously the data you have missing values, right? So it set has missing values and the spread means the variance along is one standard deviation from the mean, one standard deviation from the median. So one standard deviation means according to the formula we can understand that 68% of the distribution lies over there. So one means less than, which leaves 32% of the data is unaffected, therefore 32%. Okay, Acha, exactly right. So 32 68 32. So okay, so balancing 32. Acha, nice interesting question. So if a given data set is a cancer detector, you have built a classifying model and achieve accuracy of 96%. Why shouldn't you be happy with the model performance? What can you do about it? So sampling. remote sampling, and we can predict by probability calibration, finding the optimum threshold using AOC and ROC curves. We can assign weight to the classes such as minority classes to the larger weight. It can also use for detection. Okay. Why is naive Bayes so naive? Why is naive Bayes so naive? Naive is because assume that all of the features in the dataset are equally important and dependent. Has been as assumption is rarely true in the real world scenario. So naive is a hypothesis which can be controlled in this scenario. Okay, explain the prior probability likelihood and marginal likelihood in the context of naive Bayes algorithm. Uh, prior ba- Prior probability is nothing but the proportion of the dependent variable. So that depends upon the variable, that is also 30 and 70% of the data we'll try to classify, and then we try to work on them. You're working on time series data. The manager asked to build a high accuracy model that started decision tree algorithm. Since it's it fairly well on all kinds of the data. So later we tried the time series regression model and got higher accuracy and decision. Can this happen? Why? Time series data, yes, it is can be yes, this can be happen because there are many more limitations, and the model can be deployed by increasing what are the median, what is the data sets you are taking all about. So depending upon that, yes, this can be possible. So time series data is also known as possess a linearity. On the other hand, a decision tree algorithm is also work best on the detection of non-linear interaction. So the reason why decision tree fails to prove a robust predictions because it could not help the map of the linear regression. So you are assigned to a new project which involves helping a food delivery company to save more money. The problem is company delivery team aren't able to make the delivery done one time. As a result, their customers are getting unhappy. To keep them happy, they are ending for delivery food for free. Which machine learning algorithm can save? Okay, nice question. Delivering food for free. Okay. So always look into these factors and decide the machine learning to solve. According to this answer, if I would have given the same scenario, the same question, I would have answered like this by preparing. While trying to prepare, what are the questions which have been required to this thing? I'll go for linear regression because by calculating instead of calculating Euclidean distance, I would like to calculate what exactly Manhattan distance because modulus will be taken care, and on the other hand, uh, the area of a triangle like AC square is equal to AB plus BC square. By using that formula, we can calculate what exactly the distance is. So the customer, yeah, the food delivery boy. So learning the algorithms means we can easily make it out depending upon the data what exactly from where at what time huge amount from which area highest orders are trying to pick. So whichever the famous hotels or from where huge amount of people are requesting for. So depending upon that, I would allocate the delivery agent boys to be ready in that area, so that definitely they would directly go and pick the order from there. That would be my strategy and answer. You came to know that your model is suffering with a low bias and high variance. Which algorithm should you use to tackle and why? So my model is suffering with a low bias. That means much more uncertainty and high variance. Low bias is a low productive coordinate. Is a regularization technique. Okay, using regularization technique, random forest and classification. I don't think so. I have a proper idea about this question. We have to think over it. You could given a data set. The data set contains many variables. Some are highly corrected, and you know about that. Your manager asked to run a PCA. Would you remove the correlated variables first and why? Chances may be attempt to say no because obviously when we are able to identify what exactly the correlation regression, then there is no need for doing PCA for that. Directly we can able to convert that into the data and then try to utilize it. Okay. So after spending several years, you are anxious to build a highly accuracy model. As a result, to build 5GM models, thinking a boosting algorithm could do a magic. Unfortunately, neither your models could perform better than the benchmark score. Finally, you have decided to combine those models. Although the esteemed models are known to return high accuracy, and unfortunately, where did you miss? That's another tricky question to answer. How is KNN different from KN cluster? Or this is a very important. This is a very we already discussed. K is in names. KNN is a supervised name. See, let us read. Don't get misled by K in term names. You should know the fundamental difference between both of these algorithms. Is K means is a supervised in nature and KNN is unsupervised in nature and KNN is supervised in nature. K means is a clustering algorithm. KNN is a classification or a regression algorithm. See, K means algorithm. Partitions a data. K means algorithm partitions a data set into clusters such as clusters formed homogeneous points to each other cluster and closer. Now, the algorithms remain separated in this. Due to unsupervised nature, the clusters have no labels. So KNN algorithm try to classify an unlabeled observation based on that it can be any number surrounding neighbors. It also being a lazy learner because it involves in multiple training of models. Hence, it doesn't use any training data to make a generalization on the unseen data. How is true positive and recall related? I think we have to take it. Read. We'll get to know about this thing in the next session. So you have built a multiple regression model, and your model R square isn't good as you wanted. For improvement, remove the intercept terms. Your model becomes 0.8 from 0. How it is possible? Exactly. To understand this thing, R square formula, we have already discussed what exactly R square formula is. If you increase in one variable, the output of that one variable also increase in R square. So that's the reason R square. That's the reason we choose adjusted R square than R square. So obviously the model becomes 0.2 if we try to improve this thing. Uh, if we try to decrease one variable, obviously the other variable also tend to be decreases. That's what it's trying to explain. After analyzing the model, your manager has informed you that the regression model is suffering with a multicollinearity. How would you check if it is true without losing any information for the better model? I'll see how would the data engineering and data pre-processing has been taken care, like understanding of missing values, how they have taken care and what they have tried to fill, and they have any dropped any column, and if they have dropped any column, I'll try to convert that into dummy variables and things like that and try to use a model. And with that using same model, we'll try to use what exactly precision recall and F1 score with that accuracy, model accuracy, and if it is a if that would be a regression analysis, I would have tried using confusion matrix and try to build up the model without changing any multicollinearity of it. See correlation matrix, remove the variables and 75% detecting. By removing correlation, we reduce the information. After return the information, we have to penalize like lasso regression. Also, we have some noise correlation. See, noise correlation, exactly what we have discussed right now. But adapting the noise might affect the accuracy portion and approach should be used carefully. Know more about regression. Yes, this is another class we are about to discuss what exactly the lasso regression talks about. Rise in the global average temperature lead to decrease in the number of pirates around the world. What does the decrease in the number of pirates cause the climate change? Yes, this is a causation and correlation topic. See, causation and correlation. So, where we can't decrease the number of pirates caused in the climate change because there might be other factors also influencing the phenomena. Therefore, there might be a right correlation between the global average temperature and might be private. So, based on this information, we can't say pirate died because of the rise in the global temperature. See, correlation and causation. So, this explains about correlation and causation. So another sample resume I would like to speak about. Hold on for a second. We'll discuss where exactly the sample resumes and how should the resume be. One second. This is a basic resume, like client name, whatever the client, the project name, what is the this is a VC venture investment country monitoring the startup company. So what are the responsibilities, like worked in data processing stage, we created dummy variables, imputing, involved in computing various visualization using ggplots and things like that for this individual project. And they also mentioned what another client which has been worked in Australian Coal Miners Private Limited, what exactly the project is, what is his responsibility for, and also the Meteorology Bureau, what exactly thing the situation and what exactly he has to do in the bank description, whether what exactly the loan and up to what is the um, variable responsibilities in this thing. So this is the way you should try to explain what exactly the company is all about and what is your responsibilities in understanding this package. So this is a brief examples of how a resume should be made. And okay, so using that, well, we have to what understand what how to prepare a resume. I'll show you another interesting resume. Hold on for a second. That resumes plays a very important role. So today's topic will wind up the session like if I go through, we'll go through all these 40 interview questions and how to make a resumes and things like that and wind up for this thing. So hold on for a minute. I'll give me just 5 minutes of time. I'll jot it down what exactly the resume better best resume apart from this. Okay, cool. So while working on the data set, how do you select important variables? Explain your methods. So that depends upon the situation. We'll try to get to know what exactly how correlation regression is used for, and if any p-values regression, like forward, backward, stepwise. This is a very vast topic, like forward selection, backward selection. We'll discuss later on. Use of random forest, XZ-boost, use of lasso. These are the various methods you can select few of them accordingly. What is the difference between covariance and correlation? This is a very important topic. We already discussed the covariance means it exactly gives what exactly the person with the increase. I would like to state an example. So let me visualize what exactly. If we try to analyze it, covariance. If there is an increase in temperature, then there would have been increase in sales of ice cream. So that is a direct relationship between temperature and ice cream. So in covariance, we can easily predict the differences, whether difference we can easily communicate the differences, what exactly whether it's increase or decrease. But in correlation, we'll get to know exactly how much percentage of changes has been included. Technically, it is up to -1 to 1, and this one is my covariance is infinity, minus infinity to plus infinity. So that is correlation. And so we already discussed in the very first class. So please do have a look on that. So is it possible to capture the correlation the continuous and categorical variable? If yes, how? Yes, correlation between the continuous, we use ANOVA, where ANOVA means capturing the association between the continuous and categorical variables. So how it is both being algorithm, how it is being based algorithm, tree based algorithm, or random is different from gate is. Okay, this we have to discuss in the coming up sessions. Okay. um, Running up binary classification tree algorithm, this is also decision tree, we'll discuss in the coming up classes. Okay, if you have built a random forest, this is also random forest. You have got okay, you have got a data set to work having p, that is number of variables is equal to the number of observations. So what is OLS? OLS summary. Okay, okay. OLS summary is a simple linear regression where we try to find it out what exactly the R and R square value in the case of regression, where we can easily anticipate the data, what exactly the missing figures and things like that. Okay. So LS cannot be used at all. You have got a data to work on having number of variables, number of observations. One hot encoding, increasing the dimensity. One hot encoding and label encoding. Okay. One hot encoding is dimensions of the data to get increased, whereas label encoding is they're converting the binary data into numeric one. I guess I'm correct. Cross validation, k-fold. This we have to discuss. So if you are given a data set consisting of variables having more than 30% of the variables, say suppose 50 variables and 8 have missing higher than 30%, how you deal with them? That depends upon the situation, buddy. It depends upon the missing values, whichever data comes across. We'll try to convert them into missing values and deeper using mean or median or mode. Depending upon that, we'll try to convert this thing. So what do you understand by type 2 and type 2 error? false positive and false negative. And where this type error is a null hypothesis is false, then we accept it known as false negative. So we already discussed what exactly type 1 and type 2 errors in the earlier sessions. Okay, so please make do a note of it. So you have been asked to evaluate a regression model based on R square adjusted R square tolerance. What would be the criteria? I would select adjusted R square instead of going for this thing. Explain machine learning to me like a 5-year old. That's a very good question. How I know that the linear regression model is generally evaluating using adjusted R square or F value. How would you evaluate regression model? Better go for AIOC or ROC curve, which can explain what exactly the confusion matrix and determining the performance. So that is very interesting upon all that. Okay. Consider the long machine learning algorithms given the data. How do you decide one? Okay, these are some of the important questions which they gonna ask. How to regularizing things and what do you understand by base variance trade-off, wireless to linear regression, and the notes. Okay, wireless to linear regression maximum that you can explain the statement. Okay, you might be answer all the some of the question, but really value the understanding in it. Okay, I would like to know the experience. Okay. So these are the few of the interview questions which I have come across. They are the questions which I try to prepare from my colleagues and my interview from my HR, from my interview process, interview panel, and things like that. So please do have a look on it, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. And in the very next topic, we'll come across what exactly the CNN and ANN is, and we'll also understand in the last, in the next, then after that, we'll try to understand what exactly is time series analysis and NLP, and we'll try to close computer vision also. Okay, so that's all for the day. Take care. Bye bye.